Hello, welcome teachers to this introduction to the instructional methodology used in the design of ABC Time curriculum and online classes. In this training series, which focuses on methodology, teachers will learn about instructional methods for helping English learners develop language skills. Here teachers will get a brief overview of each method and examples of how the method is demonstrated in the design of classes, as well as examples of how teachers can apply instructional strategies that support the methodologies. The first part in this series on methodologies will examine CLIL, Content and Language Integrated Learning. Future videos will address other methodologies. But first, what is CLIL? Here's a summary. Content and language integrated learning involves teaching students content of various subjects using the target language, English. What content? Well, primary school students typically learn content in social studies, art, language arts, science, and math. When CLIL is applied, or in other words, when content and language are integrated, students learn and use English to also learn and talk about science, math, art, and other subjects. Let's examine more about this methodology. Students work on their listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills in content and language integrated instruction. They listen to, talk about, read about, and write about the content or various subjects introduced in the lessons. This enhances learning. In what ways? Well, many language learning programs focus on teaching vocabulary and language used in everyday communication. When content is integrated into the language classes, students can learn everyday language, but they also acquire subject-specific language. For example, they will learn many academic words used in science or social studies, such as words like bacteria, classification, or time zones. Developing communication skills is very important, so there's a fine balance in content and language integrated instruction. Although subjects are introduced, it's important that content instruction does not overshadow language practice opportunities. Conversation practice is essential. Students should have many opportunities to develop listening and speaking skills during conversation activities. During conversation practice, students speak about the subjects and use the subject-specific vocabulary. They also learn to use the vocabulary in a variety of sentence structures. Reading is also important in content and language integrated learning. Students read a variety of texts, fiction and nonfiction. These may include short informational pieces about a topic, short stories, books, advertisements, and other text-based materials. These texts are used to develop knowledge on a topic or introduce a subject for discussion, wherein again students are given opportunities to listen and speak about topics. Another important aspect of content and language integrated learning is the incorporation of different types of media to enhance learning through different sensory modes: hearing, seeing, touching. Sometimes it's even possible to encourage tasting and smelling in the learning process. The online lessons incorporate pictures, images, video, audio, and text, and they often encourage movement and physical actions. As we will see later, teachers play a critical role in enhancing sensory learning. Consider how the design of the ABC Time lessons incorporates CLIL. Here is an example of a vocabulary lesson page presenting content-related vocabulary for a science lesson, along with the everyday language for the students to use to discuss the topic. The picture elements help students to understand meaning of terms, and they provide opportunities for students to read and converse about the concepts. Additional opportunities for listening and speaking about the content occur after students watch videos and listen to audio clips. Students also read short informational text. Often comprehension questions are listed, but teachers can extend the conversation and ask additional questions or encourage additional conversation about the text. Sometimes students are asked to write or type words or brief answers. Sometimes students are asked to write sentences or a series of sentences. So this here demonstrates how listening, speaking, reading, and writing are developed while learning a science-based content lesson. The last slide demonstrated how the design of ABC Time curriculum incorporates CLIL. How can teachers support this? Well, this visual emphasizes additional goals of content and language integrated learning. Teachers can enhance learning in content and language integrated instruction by applying instructional methods that enhance CLIL. Here are 9 different areas we will consider. 1. It's important to manage language. One of the challenges of CLIL is the possibility for too much language when teaching content, which may confuse and overwhelm students. So teachers need to carefully plan what will be presented about the content and choose language and sentence structures that can be used repeatedly and consistently. Once one set is learned, more can be added to continue to discuss the content. 2. Manage affective factors. Managing the affective side of learning involves taking note of how students feel about the class and learning. Students are more likely to feel more positive about language learning if they feel the content is interesting and of value to know. But teachers can help students feel positive about class just by being fun and energetic in their teaching approach. Other affective factors include making the students feel that they are in a safe place to try using language without worrying about negative reactions or feeling embarrassed by correction. Lots of praise is important. Teachers can repeat language to help students hear correct pronunciation or proper phrasing. When students struggle with answers, teachers can ask more questions to guide students to answers or ask the entire class to practice together. Stretch thinking. Often the lesson pages ask teachers to engage in conversations with students. While completing many activities, students express additional thoughts. As time and students' abilities allow, teachers can expand on topics to encourage students to think more about a topic, which will give students more opportunities to use English to present their thoughts. Engage students. Number 4. ABC Time curriculum presents many topics of interest to primary school age kids, but some students will find some topics more interesting than others. Teachers should observe students and consider ways to enhance their interest. Some students really enjoy drawing, others like working with teams and interacting with classmates. Still others stay more focused when they have many chances to answer or interact with the class pages. In addition, asking students to imitate actions, engage in role-playing, and write or draw on paper can help students stay engaged in class activities. Number 5, make it real. The more teachers can help students connect what they are learning to what they already know or have experienced, the easier it is to keep students engaged. Providing students with real-life situations and asking them to role-play conversations for those situations is another way to make it real. Teachers can also prepare realia, real items that they can show the students. For example, having a washcloth and soap handy for the science lesson on germs and bacteria enhances visual stimulation, which also supports language recall. Number 6, discuss progress with students. Talking through planned learning and progress with students helps increase motivation. Teachers can support this in a few ways. At the beginning of lessons, teachers can emphasize the topic for the day. Throughout the lesson, teachers can frequently praise students, mentioning specific ways students are doing well, such as speaking in complete sentences or pronouncing words correctly. At the end of the lesson, teachers should take time to inform each student how he or she did. Highlight trophy awards. Additionally, teachers should fill out a feedback form for parents and their children to review. Cooperation. First Leap provides many ways for teachers to communicate with fellow teachers and the First Leap designers in order to discuss lesson effectiveness and practice. Teachers can present ideas to others that have really worked well or suggest improvements in lesson design. Number 8, reflect on your teaching practice. After each class, teachers should reflect on their effectiveness as an instructor. Teachers can use a self-evaluation checklist after class to see how well best practices were followed during instruction. This also provides teachers with an opportunity to consider ways to improve. Number 9, systemize integration. Students learning English will easily get confused or overwhelmed if teachers just present content as if they were teaching it to a traditional class. Instruction must be adjusted so language is introduced and students can understand and use it as they learn about the subject. The classes are designed to present language, allow students to practice, and then demonstrate their ability to use the language. Teachers should be aware of this system and be sure students are comfortable with the vocabulary before asking them to engage in more challenging activities, requiring language and content knowledge. Well, this ends the first part in this series on methodologies used in the ABC Time curriculum. I hope you've benefited from this overview of CLIL, content and language integrated instruction. First Leap encourages all teachers to continue to develop their knowledge of the methodologies presented in this training. So here are some additional web resources you can check out to learn more about it. Thanks for your attention. Happy teaching!